Cyclists flood Arizona for trading camps yearly for its hot weather, but it's also home to many junior mining companies exploring for highly sought-after metals like copper. Today, we're going for a bike ride with Alain Lambert, the CEO of Prismo Metals, a mining company exploring for copper in Arizona, as well as gold and silver in Mexico.
Well, interestingly enough, cycling is pretty much what brought me into mining. So thank you to cycling. I met these two great doctors in geology.
We're joined today by CEO of Prismo Metals, Mr. Alain Lambert. He has an extensive background in the industry and in law as well. So good to have you with us today.
Well, great to see you in Vancouver on the seawall. As you can tell, it's a magical place where to live. And that's why I moved here in 2019.
That's great. I want to know a little bit more about your background.
Well, I was born and raised in Montreal. I started my career as a corporate attorney. And then in 1987, with some friends from law school, we decided to go into capital markets advisory work. Took a number of companies public since 87, and I've never stopped it. I still love it as much as I used to back then.
Tell me a bit more as well about your biking passion. I know you love biking. We see it in your emails when you send those out to your shareholders and people that are involved. So what's your background in that?
Well, interestingly enough, cycling is pretty much what brought me into mining.
Really?
So I started my career, as I said, taking companies public, and that was outside natural resources. But as you said, I love cycling. I was a competitive amateur racer and did all sorts of bike races around the world. I was chairman of a professional cycling team, and I love cycling so much. I got to Tucson, Arizona for a training camp one day, and my wife and I fell in love with the desert, and then we built a house in Tucson in 2011, and we moved there in 2015, stayed 4 years, and living in Tucson, I met a great guy, Dr. Peter McGaw, who became a friend and a business associate. I met Dr. Craig Gibson, who's from Tucson but lives in Hermosillo, and we became friends. And actually, the three of us were the three co-founders of Prismo Metals.
Oh, great. So that's how it all started. That's how Prismo got started, I suppose.
That's exactly it. So thank you to cycling. I met these two great doctors in geology, and they're business associates and great friends of mine.
Great. So yeah, talk to us a bit about the project. Where is it located, and what stage are you at right now?
So Prismo has 3 projects. 2 are in Mexico, and 1 is in Arizona. The projects in Mexico are called Palos Verdes. It's a silver-gold prospect. It's more than a prospect. It's actually full of mineralization, which we continue to drill. Los Pavitos, orogenic gold play in Sonora State that we took from, if you will, an idea concept all the way to drilling. And more recently, we've been focusing on a very large copper project in Arizona called Hot Brecha.
Right. I'd like to know if you can talk a little bit about the capital structure of the whole company and who's involved. I know Viszla Silver is involved. They've been doing really, really well over the past year and even 5 years. Their stock is up a lot. They're creating a lot of shareholder value. I think they're at 10%. What's their involvement in your company?
Yes, so our share structure is sort of an old school share structure. We only have 54 million shares outstanding, although we've been public 4 years. What I mean by old school is that we don't throw around stock like confetti in Italian marriage. We're very careful in not diluting the shareholders. The float is about 27 million shares. Management owns more than 28%, and Viszla owns 9.4% of our company currently, and they made their first investment in Prismo Metals back in January 2023, And we've been working together ever since, advancing our Palos Verdes property, which is basically surrounded by Viszla. And they have gone from discovery to a PEA. Great company, great management. I deal mainly with Mike Connor, their CEO, and Jesus Villador, their VPX, two great guys. And we're working together to make a significant discovery. They have a right of first refusal on our Palos Verdes, so I assume one day it'll be part of their portfolio.
So I'd like to ask you a little bit. I know I've watched one of your presentations in the past, and you were talking about compensation. You know, like in junior mining, there's a lot of companies that are like lifestyle. You know, they CEOs and presidents, they pay each other like big salaries and all that. I think you have a different mindset approaching it, which for me as a a shareholder, I'd be really confident. How do you structure that, the compensation package and all that? I know it's a bit special.
Well, the way they're typically structured, the compensation packages for these lifestyle companies is you'll get the CEO sit down with a buddy, and one will be the CEO, the other guy will be VPX and CFO and so on and so forth. And, the CEO will have $350,000 a year and $250 for the other guy and $375 for the third one. And before you know it, you got to raise $1.25 million, $1.5 million just to pay these people before you invest.
Without drilling,
without anything.
Within the project.
So the way we do it is we reverse the model and say nobody has an employment agreement, nobody's on a fixed salary. If you do something, you get paid for it. So Steve Robertson, our president, was at Palos Verdes all of last week with Craig Gibson. So they're going to charge that time that they're spending on the project, and then they'll get paid.
That's really particular. I love to see that, you get what you put in the company in return. And so, that would make me really confident about a company if they decide to do that.
Yeah, you got to look for people that have a lot of stock. And I'm not talking cheap stock or free stock, like management teams that actually have a meaningful stake in the company, like us, 28%.
Totally. What, in terms of macro, like how's like silver, copper looking, and how does that affect your project like currently? I know it's still junior stage, but what's your outlook on this?
Well, what I can tell you is what I've learned from Dr. Peter McGaw is you got to look at projects where the price of the commodity doesn't really matter, in the sense that at the price that it's at now or a little lower, you'll make a ton of money. So if you look at Mag Silver, Juanicipio is one of the richest silver mine in the world, and that's really our philosophy. So if you think about the economics of Viszla Silver, and in the district Palos Verdes, extremely rich economics in the PEA they released, and that's the kind of things that we look at. At Hot Brecha, our analog for the copper project is Resolution, which is a joint venture between BHP and Rio Tinto, and they got 1.6 billion tons of 1.5% silver. So those are the types of things that we are looking for.
Totally. So, right now it's pretty uncertain what's happening in the States, and your project are in the States. How does that, like the elections, affect your project? And when, that certainty comes in, let's say Trump gets elected, how could that affect your project, do you think?
Well, if Trump gets elected, everything is going to be better, isn't it? So around the world, but seriously, I think in terms of the economy in the U.S., it's going to be positive. And if anything, the deregulations, getting rid of regulation and red tape for advancing any type of project in the U.S. is favorable. And I think that a Trump election is going to be good for the economy. So, we will see, but we're optimistic.
100%.
I am. That's my personal opinion.
I'd like to know what your drilling strategy is as well for Hot Brecha. Like, you have a special way you approach that.
So Hot Brecha was drilled in the 70s by Kennecott, which is now part of Rio Tinto. And We're proposing to do 5,000 meters of drilling, so 5 holes of 1,000 meters. We flew a significant ZTEM study, and that's kind of narrowing down where we want to be drilling, and also we're employing a AI company that is reprocessing all of our geological and geophysical data that will help us optimize the location of our upcoming drilling.
Great. All right, so before we close this interview, what else should, anyone that's interested in Prismo Metals be looking out for? Any milestones coming up as well?
Yes, so the milestones are as follows. So we're starting to drill this week at Palos Verdes, looking for the known Palos Verdes vein at depth, and looking for some of the types of bonanza grades that we have had in the past. So that will be an ongoing thing between now and the end of the year. We should start drilling at Hot Brecha in September, and these are deeper and will take longer, but you'll have assay results coming on a regular basis to that project as well throughout the end of the year.
All right, great. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Anyone that wants more info on the company, it's PRIZ. The
PRIZ is the symbol, and my name and email are on the website, corporate presentation. They can call me.
We'll also put it down in the comment section. We'll put on the screen. We'll put their ticker on the screen. If you have any questions, Alain responds to his emails.
I got a question for you.
Tell me.
Is it true you're an athlete?
I am.
Okay, let's see if you are an athlete.
Let's rip it out.
Let's rip it.